final round of this epic wild GR3 Cup that has been arranged by Super Vedu. Super Vedu is here with me. Super Vedu, how has it been for you? Please take us through everything that's happened in this league so far.
Absolutely amazing league so far, Monk. We had quite a different variety of strategies in all of our races, and we are now heading to the final last race of the season where we are going to decide the championship. The, the top two guys are separated by just 1 point after epic race, and we will be deciding the winner today. So it's going to be absolutely crazy. Plus, we have some more battles down ahead. Further ahead, we have a battle going on between P5 and P6 between our teammates, Janish and Enchanted Man. And we also have some constructors battles happening between some of the teams. So it's going to be absolutely fabulous today, and I cannot wait to get ahead with this race.
Really cool. I think the fact that this has been such an epic league, the kind of planning that's been done, the kind of thought process that's been put in, right from tire deck to dynamic weather to really setting the conditions and really challenging the skills of every racer that's out there. I think Vedu, what you've successfully done with this league is the fact that, as you know, as it goes, is you've really separated the men from the boys. So, Vedu, why don't you just sort of take us through that? What was really going on in your mind when you were planning this particular league?
So for me, Monk, it was about creating, like, making the league more exciting. So we decided of having teams, and teams allowed us to have some substitute or replacement drivers. Then we also had a different format with a livery, meaning they were allowed to create their own liveries, but with race numbers, so that could also help us manage the results and the penalties. Further down, we also had some new rules, so we had multiple substitutes who were participating, but we had point deduction so that no one could get an unfair advantage. And then the main important part was the weather, because the weather has been informed to them just before the race, and I think it just brings, as you said, separates the man from the boys, because they had to think of the strategy real time based on the information they received like 10 minutes, 15 minutes before the race.
That's fantastic. I think, for racers to really come from a position where previously the leagues that we've done, we've always made sure that, they've got all the information beforehand. There's at least 7 days of prep that's done so that you are maximizing on either your skill or strategy or a balance of both. And accordingly, you're really being able to deliver your best performance. But in this case, I have to admit, kudos to every driver that has taken part. Yes, we are going to have a P1 today. We are going to have a P2 today. We are going to have a few more positions secured down the order. But nevertheless, for everyone who has taken part in this league, I think for Sim Nation India, Vedu, what you've done is you've really set a new benchmark on how leagues need to be planned and executed at the same time. And likewise, I think for every racer that has taken part in this, they have equally set a benchmark of the skill set that we now bring in when it comes to the Indian sim racing scene with regards to GT7. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, Vedu, for really taking this to a whole new level. And likewise, I would personally want to thank each and every participant to really show that it's not just about what's straightforward out there, but everyone's really up for the challenge. I think I still remember when we were testing Vedu, we set up conditions which were not straightforward at all. We set up conditions which were very challenging. Either you couldn't see the track properly, or it would just randomly rain, or there would be a lot of modifications when it came to like pit stop criterias. So honestly, Vedu, personally, I would rather say that you have absolutely killed it, my friend. So I think now everyone's just super excited. Why don't you just take us through to this final round, Tokyo Expressway, east side clockwise, if I'm not wrong, correct?
Yes, it's clockwise at Tokyo Expressway. So we will be having starting our qualifying soon. We have a 10 minutes quali, and then the race will last for 16 laps. But the weather, as we are in Tokyo today, it may rain. So we do not know for sure if it will rain at the start or in the middle or at the end or a combination of all these things. But we may find some action today as we continue our progress through the race.
I think Japan without rain is just simply incomplete. Let's just put it this way. Any Japanese race, whether it's a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler, there's usually always entertainment and there's always rain. That is a crucial factor with any race in Japan. So I would not be surprised, Vedu, if there's rain over here. The track is already damp, but it looks like it's drying up. So while the drivers are practicing, why don't you just sort of take us through the conditions?
So the conditions are a surprise as well for our viewers, but we do know that there is a 6x of tire wear today and 4x of fuel, but since it is going to rain and their strategies would be something real time, so they need to think about what tires they are going to use, and if it's a dry track then would it be better to go on mediums or soft because of the high tire wear. And also it's going to be a rolling start, so we expect a clean getaway so that no one's race has been affected at the start. And we do have big penalties. We do not have strong penalties, and ghosting is off as always has been on our series. But yes, Monk, what do you think? Maybe we should go ahead with the qualifying and get on with the race.
You're the organizer, my friend. You're the one who's going to call the shots. I'm simply here lending my voice. So as and when you say it's go time, we will be ready for it. So I think the time is good. The weather is set. I think the audience is out there waiting. Everyone's happy. We've got the green signal that our voice is also loud and clear. So let's just go for it.
Yeah, let's go. And we are going to start the qualifying in about 5 seconds. So any predictions, Monk? What do you think? Meaning our top three guys are currently Pagal Raja, then we have Dukhi Atma, and we have Ancient Lab in top three positions. So what are you expecting for this qualifying today?
I have no idea, man. I mean, sometimes you feel that this person's gonna do well, and then suddenly, for all you know, it's just someone else who's picking it up. I think the top three is simply deservedly the guys who have been killing it since so long, and we can see them pretty much together. So I would put my money definitely on Dukhi Atma, but having said that, personally I would really like to see a twist, because I think that is what the fans will also enjoy. What is your prediction, Vedu? And likewise, we've got our audience also. It would be a hearty request from my end that please do submit your predictions also. It would be fun to really understand your perspectives as well. And as I say that, Pagal Raja just picked up a penalty. So Vedu, let's get to it. Out laps have begun. How crucial is the out lap? What kind of tire deck? Because we're talking 6x. Do you go all out? Do you burn fuel, or do you just sort of preserve your tires? Is the track going to be damp? Is it not going to be damp? What are we looking at over here?
So we may see some rains in this qualifying, but and I just want to point out what happened last race, Monk, at Red Bull Ring. Many of the participants, they went on intermediates at the start of the lap, at the start of the qualifying, and they were able to set a push lap at the beginning, and then it rained so heavily, like no one was able to set up a time. So I see a couple of strategies over here today as well. Some guys are on inters and some guys on softs. The track seems to be dry for me, and I would rather go with softs, set a quick lap time, and then maybe hopefully if the weather is still better, then put on another set of softs and go again. That would be my approach over here.
That is interesting. So while I cannot really show our viewers what tires are being used, as Ench is approaching the start-finish straight to begin his push lap of the final round of this amazing wild GR3 Cup, let's just quickly have a look from his pace. I am not certain if he is on inters or softs, and I wouldn't want to reveal his strategy as well. And that's a beautiful shot right there. But having said that, I agree with you. I think the best way would be to make sure that you definitely just go for a banger. If rain is expected, if the radars are showing some sort of clouds, because the conditions definitely look like they're overcast at this point. So if we're looking at those kind of weathers, I think yes, maybe this is the potential lap, maybe another one after this. What do you think? You're saying people are on inters. I don't know how that's going to help them out, considering those who are on slicks will probably have a much better advantage going into sector 1, 2, maybe even the third one.
Yeah, you're right. I do see some people. I don't know why they are on inters. Maybe they are trying to burn the fuel right now.
I think,
And
Vedu, I'm
probably
cutting you, I'm sorry, but I do see rain falling in already.
then this. Now it's again interesting at the very beginning of our qualifying. So what times are they going to set? Maybe it's too. I don't think it's a bad choice to go on softs for one lap. Probably they may set up a good time, and the guys running inters may find it difficult.
That is interesting. I mean, yes, I would definitely want to push on the slicks because we've seen that before. That even when it comes to slicks, they do provide the necessary traction, even if the track is say about 25% wet, or rather, if I must say, maybe damp. So definitely, there's not going to be a lot of track evolution at this point. Maybe towards the end of quali, if it stops raining, I don't know. But I think as we see Ench, who is about to set a benchmark time for the rest of the grid, what are we looking at over here with Ench as he is just about to clear the start-finish straight?
Anything below 2 is like a really good time, but with the conditions, I think he would be, and he seems to be near 2. I think this is a really good time. 159, it's a really good time. We may see it drop to 157 if the other guys are able to keep it clean, but then this is the best I would expect, 158. If it does
So
not
we are
clean,
seeing almost 2 minutes, 2-minute ones and 2-minute twos. Pagal Raja has jumped into the pits and he's shifting to a set of inters. Duki Atma does a 159.386. Let me just quickly at least show basic race info so that our viewers at least get an idea. Apologies for that. Ench goes for a 159.29.
Wanted to state something over here, Monk. I saw some guys jumping into the pits and changing from inters to softs, and then we have some guys who just jumped from soft to inters. This is crazy.
This is really interesting. And she's just about a tenth above Duki Atma, who does seem to be struggling a little at this point. And we have Ninjan, I just can't get the name right. So I think at the end of the first round of our fast laps, we were Ench who's in P1. We've got Duki Atma in P2, Pleb in P3. So where is Pagal Raja? I am surprised because we've got Askas who's in P4, Nyanesh in P5, Manu in P6, Sammy is in P7, Brazilian Sam's down to P8, Inavari is in P9, Ninjan P10, Dan P11, and Pagal Raja hasn't set a fast lap yet. So this does not look good for him, who's on his out lap. He seems to be pushing. Vedu, what tires are we looking at? Is he on the softs? Is he on the inters? That's inviting pressure, I feel.
So now you know who was on inters at the start. So Pagal Raja did jump to pits and he changed. He did take a good decision of jumping into the pits and getting rid of those inters, and now he's on softs. I hope it does not rain so hard and he can get a clean lap, because it's just a point difference between these two guys, Pagal Raja and Duki Atma. So he needs to set up a good time, or it's going to be a difficult race for him.
That's interesting. As we are with Pagal Raja at this point, Duki Atma and Inchin Pleb have entered the pits, so I think they're going for a fresh set of rubber as well. Pagal Raja has made enough room in front of him and the driver ahead. And while Pagal Raja is about to start his lap at this point, I think let's just stick with him for now to see what are the kind of times, because I think everyone's very closely bunched within the 2-minute mark at this point. So let's just stay with Pagal Raja here, who is our P1 contender at this point. And as Vedu mentioned, he's just 1 point behind. What is the sector time that we're looking at for Pagal Raja over here? Which is going to find out in a moment, as Ninjan also improves from a 203 to a 201.9. So there you go, Vedu. There's a purple sector right there. He's about a tenth and a half up.
Yes, the track seems to be slightly damp, but I think it should be okay for softs. But let's see how he keeps it, how he manages to the next couple of set of corners. It's too early to tell. We will see another sector time coming up over here soon.
So while we're looking at Pagal Raja over here, who's using almost all of the track, he just about keeps it purple as well, keeping it tight. So I think Vedu, you are right. I think 159 would be the mark out here. This particular chicane is extremely crucial. I think this entire section is such a fast, flowy section that if you just don't get it right, you end up losing a good amount of time.
That is true. That is true. But yes, we did miss Pagal Raja in one of the races at Brent Hatch, and as per our format in this league, we just consider 5 of our 7 races. And considering 5 of those 7 races, and he's going to face some traffic right now. Considering those 5 of those 7 races, he still needs to win today, or get at least 2 positions above Dukiatma to win this championship.
This looks tight, and he just might get some sort of an assistance from Ancient Pleb here, as he is just half a tenth on the current fastest lap, which I feel personally may not be a strong enough lap. But let's see, where does this put Pagal Raja? I am expecting him to be P1 at this point with the toe from Pleb maybe. What are we looking at? He does dump, and look at that toe has definitely helped him for sure. He's almost 3 tenths up, so that is a good lap. Who are we looking at? Let's just stay with Ench here, as he's pretty much cleared his sector 1, about to encounter some traffic, and Ench is already above by a tenth as well. So that Renault is doing magic for him also.
Yeah, Ench has been really strong since last race. He performed really well in the last wet race at Austria. He finished the race at P1, and today also it seems like this comfortable suit him well. So we may expect a strong finish from him, and may play for sport for our top 2 runners. So let's see what happens.
Let's see, because as we were with Dukiatma, Dukiatma did not improve on sector 1. We are with him here. We're going to stay closely behind, and sector 2 has been a massive one. Look at that, 2.5 tenths above. Oh my god, Dukiatma has found some time from somewhere. This man does not give up. He just pulls out of a rabbit. He pulls out a rabbit, from his hat every now and then. And I think Pagal Raja is just in front of him. So Pagal Raja has probably had a moment somewhere that Dukiatma has really caught up. So while we missed that, let's just stay with the others where we are. So it is the final lap here, and there is a lot of traffic. So what are we looking at out here? We've got Ancient Pleb in P4, Dukiatma in P3. Ench crosses the line, jumps to P1 by 3 tenths. That's a strong 158.691. We are here with Pagal Raja at this point, who I don't think is improving. So let's just stick with the man behind, which is Dukiatma, who has a bit of a squabble. Askas improves, and Dukiatma is still 3 tenths above. So, and he's got a fantastic toe there from Pagal Raja. So I think Dukiatma is very much pipped. Let's just be with Pleb here. Does Pleb improve? Are we looking at an improvement? I do think he is, because he's got a fantastic toe from Dan. Oh, he just jumps up to P3. Dukiatma jumps up to P1, half a second. Wow, that has been a strong quali there. That has been a sensational quali right there. Is anyone else improving? I don't think we are looking at any more improvements at this point. President Sam, I think everyone is done. Wow, that was a stonker of a lap. That is a statement for someone who is hungry to win the championship. Dukiatma with P1. Vedu, what do you think about that lap?
That was really fantastic. Like, he's about half second clear of Enchanted Man, and 8 tenths clear of Pagal Raja, and this is a really strong finish. So, but let's not forget how the weather is going to affect these guys, because the conditions, and it depends on how clean they can keep it. Also, I wanted to mention that in his teammate, Pagal Raja's teammate, has finished P12. I do not understand. Maybe he was not able to set up a time, or something went wrong. But yes, seems crazy. It was a pretty exciting qualifying, and let's see how this excitement turns out during our race.
I am absolutely looking forward to that. So quickly we take our viewers through the grid. We've got Dukiatma with a sensational 158.179 in P1, followed by Ench almost half a second behind. Then we've got Pagal Raja in P3, Pleb in P4, Askas in P5, Nyanesh in P6, Manu in P7, Sammy in P8, Brazilian Sam down in P9, 9gen in P10, Dan in P11, and Inaveri in P12. So the grid is pretty much well spread here. It is not as close as I was expecting it to be. As we can see, the rains are really pouring in. So I think, as Vedu really pointed out, our racers will have to be prepared for an absolutely mix of strategies altogether as we quickly go through our timesheets. Half a second is a strong lap. I am not certain if Ench maybe picked up some rain somewhere, or is it just that maybe Dukiatma just got the track in its absolute optimum most condition that you can think of.
Yeah, and not to forget, this is a very tricky track. So if you make one mistake and that sector is completely out of the window, meaning you will lose a lot of seconds if you make one mistake. So I think Dukiatma has managed to keep it really clean. 158.1, it's like really strong. He's like close to 157, which I was expecting. And let's not forget, Monk, Pagal Raja did go on inters at the start, and he did lose a lap probably where he could have improved. So that did probably hurt him. But yes, we can expect a good finish over here for these two guys.
Pagal Raja did try the gamble, but I think it was a gamble that was he pulled maybe the move a little too early. The rains didn't really fall the way he was hoping for it to fall. So he tried to outsmart the grid, but it didn't work out for him. But I would still say that was a decent recovery, considering that probably these guys also managed to burn enough fuel so that they could really have that final strong push lap. So having said that, Vedu, I think now everyone's just waiting for you to give the green signal for this amazing 16 lap race. 16 laps of intense actions. How many pit stops should we be prepared for, Vedu?
I cannot be sure about that, Monk, because okay, let's just start the race and we can discuss the settings. So have a good race, guys, and we start. So yes, Monk, regarding the pit stops, we do have high tire wear. So if there is a dry condition over here, which I assume not, then we would see about 3 laps. But with the rains, I think we may see about 3 to 4 pit stops. Depends on the conditions again.
Interesting. So as we wait for the start to begin, we are with our leader Dukiatma with the entire grid right behind him as rolling start has been initiated, and we have Dukiatma in P1, Ench in P2, Pagal Raja in P3, Pleb in P4, top 4 battling it out, and we are go. So let's just stay here with our leader. Are we looking at any action behind? I don't think so, as we have Ench closely followed by Pagal Raja, who's already set to attack, and he's just going to bump him. Look at that. I think Pagal Raja knows the best way to go about it is to make sure that it's just be close to the leader and not let Vedu go through. So look at that, we've already got RG Baji action there. As you got Askas who's moved up to P4, Plebs dropped down here to P6. Dukiatma is under attack from Ench as well. Oh my god, there's RG Baji action all over the place. This is just chaotic as we expected. But look at that, Pagal Raja is right behind Dukiatma, and Ench is being closely trailed here by Duki. Vedu, what are we looking at? There's so much action going on. Help me get to speed, man.
Crazy start over there, Monk. We see Ancient Pleb was dropped to P8, P7, sorry, but we see Gyanesh who has moved to P4. Enchanted Man is now in P1. Dukiatma is closely following him, and Pagal Raja is P3, keeping it really close and clean behind Dukiatma. So this is going strong for these guys. And Sammy, as a surprise, he has now jumped to P5, and there is action everywhere. Inaveri has moved to P9. We see Dan and Injan in that P11 and P12. But yes, it's really crazy. A lot of movements here and there, and Dukiatma and Enchanted Man. So we are seeing a 3-way battle for this P1.
As we capture, Askas is struggling. Askas is completely backed off here for some reason. So we're just going to quickly move, and Ninjin's just completely falling behind the grid as well. So as we just go back to our guys in the lead, Dukiatma is closely following, Is this a game where toe saving fuel helps, or is this a game where you have to be on the attack? What strategy would be ideal over here, Vedu?
I would say we attack because pros and these guys now know the weather. Yeah, our viewers still do not know. But as a surprise, then we do expect rain coming in about few more laps. So it would be wise to just burn that fuel, maybe burn that fuel and those tires. But right now, these guys we do see a pack forming. So we see top three guys like 2 seconds clear of Nyanesh. So maybe, and some guys are also on mediums now. So they are having different strategies. So probably.
Oh, there's been a bit of a moment here, and Duki Atma picked up a penalty. That was unfortunate as he tried to break an inch, outbraked himself, and in the process collected Duki Atma. Also, Duki Atma will not be happy with the fact that, I'm so sorry, Vedu, I cut you there, because this has worked beautifully in the hands of Pagal Raja. Duki Atma has picked up a 2.5 penalty, and he is soon going to be under attack because look at him, he is pushing. He does not want Pagal Raja to go through, and Pagal Raja can take full advantage of this and can build a healthy lead as a Reina side. And look at that, we've had another moment here as Enge has also picked up a penalty as well. This is not helping anyone else but Pagal Raja at this point. I think Pagal Raja is definitely having the start that he was looking for because his closest two rivals at this point, one has got a penalty and one has fallen right behind in P6. Ganesh on the other hand over here can really enjoy the fruits of this and take full advantage. Now, is this a good time to jump in the pits, or is this the time to maybe just gamble it out, stay for another lap or two, test the conditions, and then maybe take a call on whether to pit for intros or no? Vedu, what would you do at this point?
So just to update our viewers, Askaz had a power cut unfortunately, and we lost him because of that. But yes, I think it's really a perfect opportunity for Nyanesh over here, and just letting our viewers know, Enchanted Man and Nyanesh are from the same team, the Maverick, and Nyanesh is now in P3, so they were also competing for P5, and Nyanesh seems to be taking up a place on Duki Atma right now, so and it has worked really well indeed for Pagal Raja Jr., so he is about 3 seconds clear from both of these guys.
Now, what can Duki Atma do here? Does Duki Atma stay in the tow, or does Duki Atma decide that, you know what, let me just keep bump drafting him so that together we can? Because look at that lead. It's almost 4 seconds for Duki Atma. That one penalty, that one little moment with Enge has cost him almost 4 seconds. And we've got action behind here. Ancient Pleb is on a recovery run at this point, as the rains seem to have just they've just been trickling. Sammy's moved up to P4 in the process. Enge has moved down to P6 in a matter of a lap. And Duki Atma has picked up another penalty. Oh my God, baby. Duki Atma will absolutely be ruining the fact that he's picked up 2 penalties back to back, and these are brutal penalties right here. You want to make sure that you're being absolutely careful. This is going to be a tricky corner. Nyanesh has a great chance of probably securing his best result of the season at this point. He just needs to keep it clean. It's okay if he lets Duki Atma pass. Need not fight it, because all of this is only helping Pagal Raja. That gap's moved up to 4.5, can go up even more. Ancient Pleb could just come back in the fight as well. This is absolutely mental. Vedu, what is your perspective on this?
Yeah, everyone is so close right now from P5, from P3 onwards. Everyone is battling for P3 right now. We see Ancient Pleb just made a move on Sammy, and he's super close. He's about 1 second clear of Nyanesh right now. So Duki Atma, he needs to be calm. The weather is going to change, and he needs to take care of his tires. So we can see some action, and yes, he will be losing a few places for now, but we can still see him in play because we know he's a.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Sammy's had a moment there. Sammy was looking good for a podium, has fallen right at the back. It seems like he got picked up there by the man in P4. I'm not certain who that was, whether it was Manu. It seemed like it was a moment with Manu. Duki Atma has fallen down to P4. I'm so sorry for cutting you there. But look at that. Brazilian Sam, who at one point was way behind, is now up to P6. Manu is fighting ahead. This is a great spectator view. Duki Atma has fallen to P5, might come under attack. Oh, and he just gets a bump from Brazilian Sam. So I think they're working together, as Duki Atma might just be able to make the move for P4. And Enge goes for a strong move. Oh, and she's doing no justice here to Duki Atma. Oh my God,
has been a disaster for Dukiatma.
What happened here? We picked that up. What was Ench thinking? Why did Ench make that lunge? Something just hasn't worked out, and Dukiatma moved down to P10. He has 12 laps to pull off a sensational recovery drive, which he's capable of. And Vedu, look at this. We have Pagal Raja in P1, Pleb, who was down in P2, in P8, has now moved up to P2, and Gyanesh is in P3. I think Gyanesh can just keep it close behind Pleb, keep it simple, and he might just get a really good result. And Pagal Raja has had a moment. Pagal Raja is losing time here. He was almost 6 seconds up. That's come down to almost 4 seconds. Did we miss out on something? Look at that. He is losing a good amount of time here. I think, has he picked up some damage, Vedu?
I think it was probably some bad sector, and he did lose a couple of tenths there, but an Ancient Lab is catching him. But do not, just to mention, they are on different tire strategies, so it's been a while that Pagal Raja was on those particular set of tires, and those are now completely worn out. He may be jumping into the pit soon, and I think that's the reason he's falling behind. But yes, I do feel bad for...
Pagal Raja stays out for another lap.
Yes. But I do feel bad for Dukiatma, and that move did come out of nowhere. So I don't know what Enchanted Man was planning, but seems like we would be seeing a report coming in soon.
Seems like it, but look at that surprise member Manu up in P4. He will really be happy, and he is really attacking Gyanesh here. So I think we've got a spicy battle brewing up for the final spot on the podium. So while the grid's a little spread out, let's just look at, we've got Pagal Raja who's in the lead at P1. Then we've got Ancient Pleb here in P2, about 3.5 seconds behind. Gyanesh is in P3, Manu's in P4. Ench has moved back up to P5 with that controversial moment with Dukiatma. And Avery's moved up to P6 after starting last. Brazilian Sam is up to P7. Dan is in P8 but has picked up a 2.5 penalty. Dukiatma has recovered to P9 and should be able to get up to P8 as well. Sammy's in P10 and Ninjen is down in P11. So Pagal Raja seems to be struggling because he's just lost another 2.5 here, and Pleb is catching him aggressively. So is Pagal Raja trying to save some fuel, or is it just purely tire performance at this point, Vedu?
I think he's trying to save his tires because they are like really worn out, and probably, yes, he did stay out for that last lap, but he needs to come into the pit soon. I don't know if he's trying to save the tires because maybe we are expecting rain soon, but then that's the main reason I would say that Plab is catching him. So is Gyanesh.
Everyone's catching him, and look at that, he is just losing time like as if he's driving on ice, and everyone's just got all the grip that they could ask for. Are we looking at Pagal Raja jumping in the pits? No, he does not. He decides to stay out. Really interesting there. So I have a feeling there is some mix-in strategy here that I'm definitely not understanding at this point. So we've got some action here. What's going on? Okay, so it's just the penalties.
Let me also state their fuel weapon now. So Pagal Raja and Ancient Plab, they have about same levels of fuel, and so is Gyanesh. We see Enchanted Man who has used a lot of his fuel, so he's going strong, but he is on slightly less fuel as compared to these three guys. Dukiatma is also keeping well with the fuel, but then these guys on softs, they are burning out their soft tires, and they should be coming in pit soon.
So will Pleb be making an attack, or will Pleb be thinking, you know what, let me just stuck in behind Pagal Raja? I don't think so. I think he's going to make the attack really soon, and he thinks about the move and he goes for it. He's going for the kill here. I think he's realized that there is no point staying behind Pagal Raja because he clearly is struggling at this point. Ancient Pleb takes the lead. What does this do to our championship at this point, Vedu? Are we looking at a whole new championship winner at this point who was absolutely unexpected to like a couple of laps back, and now seems like he's just going to fly away with it? If Ancient Pleb wins and Pagal Raja is on P2, who's going to be our champion, Vedu?
That can be complicated. Again, if these guys fall below P4, P5, then we can see the guys getting the fastest lap point as well. So it may get complicated, but I guess P1 and P2 is still between Dukiatma and Pagal Raja. Ancient Pleb is still a way back, still behind in points. So he will be securing P3 today.
Interesting, very interesting. Now Pleb looks like he's jumping into the pits. Yes, he is. Pagal Raja enters the pits as well. Pagal Raja was on soft. Nyanesh enters. So I think we're looking at the first phase of our pit stops at this point. Ench, Enavri, Manu, Sammy, Dukiatma also looks.
I have to interrupt you. We are heading in for a rainy session now because it is raining and we may see some of these guys going on inters probably.
So Pagal Raja has moved with, he's jumped everyone in the pits. He's gone on inters. Pleb has picked up full wets. Nyanesh I missed out. I'm not sure what it is with Nyanesh. Manu's gone on wets. I want to be with Dukiatma here. Sammy's gone on inters as well. What does Dukiatma do? Is he going? Yes, he's picked up inters as well. Brazilian Sam's gone for full wets. 9 Gen, what does he do? Inters and inters for Dan and 9 Gen. So let's stay with Pagal Raja here. Oh my god, it is pouring and it is pouring like cats and dogs at this point. So, and Pagal Raja sliding, he's squirmish already.
Yeah, we are going to see a complete grid shuffle over here. What would you have done, Monk? Looking at this intensity of rain, maybe that does not seem like a bad idea to me right now.
Wets probably does not seem like a bad idea for sure, but if I can, and Pagal Raja just collided with the wall, he will pick up penalties. These penalties are not going to help him. Pleb definitely seems to be in a much more comfortable spot at this point. Dukiatma has dropped down to P8. Pagal Raja just needs to hang in there, as Pleb also has a moment with the wall. So they are pushing, but it looks like everyone is struggling for grip at this point. These conditions are very, very tricky indeed. But in certain sectors, Vedu, it does look like the rains are not so aggressive, but in certain sectors the rains, okay, no, I completely take that statement back.
Just to mention, Monk, we do see the rains in the blue section over there in the grip meter. So it does not look like an intermediate track to me.
For sure.
It seems like a full patch.
So I think it's just about riding it out and keeping it there. I think as long as Pleb and Pagal Raja literally struggling for traction, those rare tires are just not giving them the grip and the launch. Or if I purchase a Dukiatma has a swift overtake on Sammy and moves back up to P7. Nyanesh in P4, Ench has moved, Nyanesh in P3, Ench has moved up to P4, so he's on a recovery drive as well. Enavri is down in P5, Manu in P6. Dukiatma is almost 17.5 seconds behind in P7, and Simon ECBN unfortunately has picked up a penalty. So I'm just going to be here with our top two guys, as I did sense that there is a battle brewing up. So let's just stay here with Pleb, who is about to make a move on Pagal Raja. Now, will Pagal Raja give him room, or will Pagal Raja? No, he does not. Pagal Raja brakes very late, really aggressive on the brakes there. Keeps it clean. Wow, that was fantastic braking. That is gutsy for sure. I think all of this, if Nyanesh can keep it clean, he can gain a good amount of time and ground on these people. So Pagal Raja is not giving it up. It does look like Vedu, the rains have stopped. So maybe this just brings a tilt back towards the inters.
I would assume so. Maybe running inters would probably advantage us. I saw Brazilian Sam, they're also jumping into the pits and changing from wets to inters. But yes, maybe it could work out well for these guys in inters.
So the move that these guys are trying, I think this Pleb is still trying to catch up. And look at that, Nyanesh was 3.8 seconds behind, is now about 2.3 seconds behind. He brushes the wall. And Enavri and Hench are having a moment here. Let's stick with these guys for a bit, as these guys are battling. And look at that, Enavri has caught up to Nyanesh. So the podium, I think you were absolutely right there, Vedu. We will be seeing a bit of a shuffle with the grid here for sure, as we have Enavri, who's currently being sandwiched by Ench and Nyanesh at this point. Enavri goes for the move, brings a dive down the inside. Now have they kept it clean? No, and look at that, Ench is going to make a move for P3 there. as they braked it, tried to brake as late as they could, and they missed out. And Ench has moved back up to P3. Pleb is now 1.3 seconds behind Pagal Raja at this point. He's trying to keep those tires cool. The high tire deck will not help the wets at this point for sure. It will support the inters. Ench is now moving to P3 with that. As Nyanesh jumps into the pits, I think, as you mentioned, Vedu, shifting from the wets to the inters. As Navary is now attacking Ench again.
Yeah, I see a couple of guys jumping into the pit. So yes, as you mentioned, Monk, since it is drying up, the bats would be losing their grip quite sooner than as compared to winters. And I see some guys. So some guys are were also on mediums in the last lap. So we may see some unexpected results. But yes, there are some guys already on mediums. So yes, I do see a dry line, and we see Enchanted Man making a move there on Inabri, securing that P3. Duki Atma has moved to P5. So yes, we may see some of this guy jumping into the pits again.
I was just about to highlight that in all of this, Duki Atma is on his recovery run, and that man is capable of pulling off something really crazy. A gap which was once at 17 seconds has now come down to 15 seconds, so he is definitely on a mission. Ancient Pleb is losing ground to Pagal Raja at this point. He's almost 3 seconds up, so I think as the track is dying up, it's now going to be a question, as Ench has a bit of a moment there with the wall. I think it's now going to be a question of who pulls the trigger again, because the track is drying up so quickly. We can immediately see a dry line here. We are very much within the second half of the race at this point. Is this now, Vedu, the right time to enter back into the pits and just maybe gamble it with the mediums? I unfortunately do not have access to the radar, so I am not certain, but seeing that dry line, I would totally want to jump back for a set of slicks now.
Absolutely, Monk, because we see some of the guys jumping into the pits and they are keeping it clean. Yes, there is a wet part on
Pagal Raja does enter the pits.
Yes, so there is a dry line, and it would make sense to go on softs or mediums. We see all of these guys jumping into the pits, and it does make sense.
Now what does Duki Atma do? We will stay here with Duki Atma. Pleb tried to attack on the wets. Duki Atma decides to stay out.
He stays out.
This is interesting. Where is Pagal Raja? Pagal Raja just about exits with a little bit of fuel, but he is behind Pleb. Both of them on the mediums now. Pagal Raja immediately goes for the attack, and he's like, you know what, I am not going to stick around behind Pleb here. I'm just going to go for it. 5 seconds. Is 5 seconds a good enough gap here for Duki Atma to maybe defend? It's gone up to 6 seconds at this point. Is the wet track going to affect grip over here, or is it something that you can maybe manage on Vedu?
No, but I think it can be quite tricky now, because there is a dry line, yes, but if they go slightly wide, and we can see Engine Flap over there slightly struggling, but if they go onto that wet section, then it's a straight away spin, so they need to be careful. So this may work out well for Duki Atma, because his tires are not bad enough. He can stay out there for a couple of more laps. Maybe we may see rain coming in back soon.
Just imagine it rains, and I think this would be a blunder then for Pagal Raja. He, certainly for his sake, would not be hoping, because he is gaining time now. That those sector times are improving, and the gap is now almost down by a second there. So clearly these guys are gaining a super amount of time. 6 seconds has now come down to almost 4 seconds. So I'm sure Duki Atma will be seeing that, and Duki Atma will not be liking that, because those times are tumbling aggressively. Now this could be a moment where Duki Atma could just maybe fall down to not just P3, but maybe even P4, possibly P5 behind Nyanesh. Look at that, it's almost 3.2 seconds now. So we'll stay with Duki Atma at this point. What do you think is going to happen here, Vedu? Has Duki Atma made a mistake here?
I think it was a smart decision, meaning he had to try something different now, because he lost already a couple of seconds because of that position. So he needs to take some gamble, and let's just see what happens, because maybe one more lap we may see some rain, or maybe he's also hoping for that we could be having some rain again.
Yeah, because Pagal Raja's Junior is definitely on the attack here, and he does not seem to be slowing down at all. And that dry line now is very, very prominent. So the dry line will definitely not be helping Dukhi Atma's tires, because at every corner Dukhi Atma is losing almost half a second there. So that gap has now come down to almost 2 seconds, and Pleb is following closely behind. So it is not looking good for Dukhi Atma at this point.
Yes, Monk, but let's see. Meaning we do have 5 laps. We do have 5 laps after this. Maybe he can manage on one side of tires. Meaning we do know Pagal Raja may have to jump into the pits again. So if he can stretch out for the next 5 laps, we may see a possibility that he takes the lead. So again, it's like different strategies, and we do not know how it's going to end. We will find out in the next couple of laps. But yes, as we mentioned, he lost a couple of seconds there. He lost about 2 seconds, and we see Pagal Raja is going in for the move zone.
As Pagal Raja is lining up a move, he knows he cannot be on the wet line, and Dukhi Atma will do everything possible to make sure that Pagal Raja goes onto the wet line. He pushes him on the outside. Will Pagal Raja make a move here? Dukhi Atma will definitely not make it easy. As Dukhi Atma goes wide, Dukhi Atma completely outbraked himself, and that line has not helped him. Pagal Raja moves up, Dukhi Atma picks up another penalty of a second and a half. This has just gone wrong from lap 1 for Dukhi Atma. He will absolutely be pissed off at this point with the fact that he's picked up penalty. As Pagal Raja thought about, he pulls off a dummy, but stays out. So that track is drying up, and what have we got here? We've got Ench and Nyanesh battling it out, as Nyanesh makes a jump for P3 on Ench as well. So are we looking at the guys ahead battling it out? Not really, but Pleb might pull the trigger. Yeah, Pleb goes down in the inside as well. Pleb keeps it clean. Now you don't want to be on the wet part. And am I seeing rain again, Vedu? Is it me, or is it actually raining?
I am still able to find out, but which sector, Monk? We may be seeing some rain. Yes, that is true.
Sector 1, it did seem like it was raining. There were a few drizzle drops. I did see that, as Pleb now pulls the trigger as well, and he moves up to P1. Nyanesh is slowly expanding the gap. Fantastic drive so far, and it is raining. The rains are picked up. Dukhi Atma with that penalty will really be scratching his head on, did he just enter the pits at the wrong time, because he's entered the pits and it started raining again. And I have a feeling that Dukhi Atma has moved up to slicks, and he's about 21.6 seconds behind the leader. So Pagal Raja has definitely dropped, and he's lost some ground. He's losing a good amount of time to Pleb here. What are we looking at over here in the meantime, while everyone's sorting things out? Enavri is in P6 with a penalty. We do Sammy's in P7, and the rains are picking up again. Ninegen's got a penalty as well. Manu's struggling for grip, just about keeps it clean. Dan's struggling as well, as he goes wide, as Brazilian Sam overtakes him. So they're having a battle among themselves. This does not look good. Now let's stick with Pleb here, our race leader at this point. What does Pleb do? Does Pleb decide to stay out? Or doesn't look like Pleb is in the mood to pit. I think Pleb's decided to stay out. No, Pleb enters the pits. Pagal Raja is also following him as he enters the pits. So where is Dukhi Atma at this point? Dukhi Atma is about 23.5 seconds, and he's going to lose a little bit of time as well because of the penalty. Nyanesh in P3, Ench in P4. Pagal Raja is going for wets here. That is interesting to do.
Dukhi Atma is just coming up that final corner, and he may be sandwiched between Nyanesh and Enchanted Man. But yes, he did make a good recovery. He's about 10 seconds. And yes, maybe we are seeing some more rains right now, Monk. And since Pagal Raja has gone on wet, maybe we see some heavy rains now.
It's like as if Pagal Raja, already knew what the race conditions are going to be like, because he has been calling the shots in a way where the track and the conditions just working out for him. Let it be here, as Ench makes a fantastic move there as he dives down into P3. And look at that, Dukhi Atma was making the attack, and he pushes Nyanesh wide. And Dukhi Atma taking advantage of the slicks here. But I'm not
Uh,
certain those slicks are going to be helpful for him or no.
yes, no, but just to mention there, Monk, I think Duki Atma already thought way ahead of time, and he was on the rain tires. I will not mention which, so that saved him a pit stop.
Wow, okay, so there you go. Neither us or the spectators knew about that because I was wondering where is he finding all this traction from. And look at that, what a recovery at this current stage. If it stays the way it is, Duki Atma could be our champion. And like I mentioned, this man can pull off a solid recovery out of nowhere. Pagal Raja does not seem to be gaining enough ground here. He's 4.5 seconds behind Pleb at this point, and it again seems like the rains are not strong enough for full wets. And Duki Atma is surely gaining with every sector now. This has been topsy-turvy to a whole new level, Vedu. What a fantastic race you've planned.
Absolutely, Monk. I'm just enjoying watching this race right now because of the conditions. Yes, Akash, we did have Ashish. We did have 3 pit stops already, and we may see another one. But let's hope. Let's see what happens. But yes, I'm really happy on the way it turned out to be.
Simply fantastic. I think we've had almost 3 pit stops already so far, if I'm not wrong. And
Yes,
you're
yes,
expecting
we
a
did.
fourth one. The rains are picking up to a certain extent, but not to a point where it would work out for full wet. So this is definitely not helping out Pagal Raja. So let's just look at Ench here, as Ench definitely is back, and Duki Atma will be hoping that Ench just doesn't really run him out this time as well. Duki Atma will want to make sure that there is a good amount of distance so that this will be making him nervous. I'm quite certain. But it again looks like the rains have stopped, my friend.
Yes, but the gap is now coming down. So Pagal Raja is about 7 seconds clear of Duki Atma, and that gap is coming down because he's on wet. So he needs to keep it clean, and the wets are also burning out a bit faster than those intermediates.
My,
So the
my.
gap is coming down, Monk. The gap has come down to 6, and it is going down even further. So it has come down to 5.5 seconds right now.
Duki Atma will be brimming with confidence at this point. He just knows that 2 laps to go. After everything that he's gone through, after the countless penalties that he's had to take for his mistakes and for some maybe which were not, the fact that he at one point was down in P10 is now almost smelling and sensing that what, I have a great shot at Pagal Raja, who's 6 seconds behind the leader. As we do see Pleb, he's about to serve his penalty here. So I'm not sure if Pagal Raja will be able to gain 6 seconds, but it's 4.2 seconds at this point, and Pagal Raja will want to keep those tires as wet as he can, but he's only entering a dry patch at this point. And Pleb jumped into the pits here, Vedu.
I have no idea. Maybe he's so that figures he's going for the fastest lap probably.
Interesting. So Pagal Raja set a good 159 flat here for race pace, considering that our fastest quali lap was within like a 158. I think that is a strong lap there by Pagal Raja. So this has again maybe to a certain extent played in Pagal Raja's favor, but considering the fact that he's on wets and he's losing time, would it have been a good idea to maybe just jump for slicks, knowing that you're anyways losing ground?
To make it more exciting, Monk, we now see the gap has dropped to 3 seconds, and Duki Atma is just 3 seconds behind Pagal Raja, and Shrouded Man has stayed out of the way. So we may see a final lap battle between these two guys. The gap is just coming down ever so further.
This has become even more interesting now because at one point it just didn't seem like we'd see a 1-2 between these guys, and look at that, he's just gained 3 seconds over that one corner. Duki Atma is attacking with all his might at this point. 2 laps to go, Vedu, or rather we're almost about a lap and a half to go. 2.3 seconds, 2.2 seconds. I cannot take my eyes off this battle. This is the championship decider right here. 2 laps are going to decide who our champion is going to be. Pagalraj is really struggling with those tires at this point. He's trying to keep them as wet as he can, trying to keep it on the wet line. Look at that. Duki Atma is keeping it clean. He knows the mistake that he made in the past. He does not want to repeat that. Penultimate lap.
To make it further exciting, Monk, both of their tires are currently in like their last stages. So we don't even know if those tires will survive this last lap.
My God, this is going to be about who's just that ever so more hungry for that championship win. 1 second, as you look at Duki Atma here, 1 second where he is. It's the last lap. For our viewers, I'm going to show them everything here. You can see the tires are completely gone on both their vehicles at this point. This is simply mental. Who's gonna be gutsy here? Duki Atma thinks about making the move, but he's just ever so slightly behind here. But he is gaining ground. He knows he can catch Pagal Raja. Pagal Raja knows he's vulnerable. Pagal Raja knows he cannot do anything at this point, but Vedu, those fronts, they are scaring me. And it is starting to rain again. Oh my God, Vedu, what is going on, my friend?
I cannot believe this race right now. This is absolutely crazy. I think this is the best one we ever had in our Sim Nation India history.
For sure. And look at this, Duki Atma is now again getting caught up by Ench because his tires are in much better condition. Can Ench be a differential here? Look at that, Ench is gaining significant ground. Ench might just think about going for P2 here. He might not hold back. He thinks about the move. Is he going down the inside? He does. Oh, Duki Atma loses. Oh my God. Now Ench could go for the win here as well. Is Ench going to go for the win? I certainly think he will maybe try for the last lunge because he definitely looks like he is in position here. Ench will not want to hold back. We know Ench does not give up. Yellow flags. Ench goes for the inside. Is he braked enough? He has. Pagal Raja will be hating that. Duki Atma struggling for traction. Ench with that final corner dive bomb secures P1 because his tires are in great condition. Pagal Raja will be P2, I think, and Duki Atma will be P3. Oh my God, their tires are shot up to another level. What are we looking at over here, Vedu? I am so excited, and Ench with a brilliant, sensational P1 subject to stewards and their investigation.
Yes.
But Pagal Raja comes to P2 and Duki Atma with a stellar recovery in P3. And look at that, Plebs picked up deadly penalties here. He tried the slicks, but they just didn't work out for him on a pretty wet track. Pleb finishes, comes home to P4. Enavri struggling his way as the track just is now working for wet tires. Seems like he's going to finish P5. Sammy with an insane recovery moves up to P6. Nyanesh, who at one point looked so good, tried to go for the softs but is just struggling for traction here. Has a 6-second penalty. He may lose P7 also to 9gen at this point, who also has a penalty, but he's very, very close now. So let's see what happens here as these guys are struggling. We've got Manu in P9 further behind. And then we've got Dan in P10. So we do one. Nanish just struggling for grip here. 9gen gets the jump on him.
Completely no grip.
Yeah, absolutely no grip there for Nanish. He is going to be hating that. Look at that. Those softs just, he's just going to be wanting to get into the dry bit, and now he will get traction. So 9gen moves out. He just spun his way into P7. So good recovery for 9gen as well, who was dead last at one point. Nanesh, who looked solid for a podium finish, finishes unfortunately at P8. Manu comes home to finish P9, and Dan will be P10 and Bazin Sam P11. Wow,
yes.
Vedu, wow. I think for our viewers, no one knows who's going to be the champion at this point, but what a recovery there by Duki Atma. And what a drive by everyone, especially Ench, who at one point was nowhere in the picture. Yes, he had his moment, but to finish P1, simply amazing there. Simply amazing.
Yes, I would say, absolutely amazing race by Uncharted Man there. we may have to go through the reports and just letting our viewers know that the penalties are applied after the race, and we just changed from grid penalties to timed penalties. So a few seconds would be added to the end of the race. So we may see some results shifting here and there, but yes, kudos to these guys, because with the strategies that we saw today, the conditions and how it evolved, I think it has been absolutely fantastic.
So Vedu, I would like to ask you one more question. While we know that this is the final race and obviously the penalties will be applied to their overall race time, Pagal Raja also has picked up the fastest lap. No one could contest that. So would that help Pagal Raja in maybe just having a better chance at the championship, or is it just too late now?
No, that will definitely help him. We may see him getting an advantage with that fastest lap. So, but yeah, I think we should be seeing the results soon, and we'll find out.
Interesting. So I think this has been a fabulous race. One last recap from my end, which would be Ench, who finished in provisional P1 at this point, Pagal Raja in P2, Dukhi Atma in P3, Pleb in P4. I think Dukhi Atma and Pagal Raja had a fantastic battle, showing why they really deserve to be P1 and P2 in the championship. Let's see, we'll find out soon who the final champion is. But Pleb does secure his P3 with that P4 finish. Inavri, who maintains his P5 in the race. Sammy with a decent recovery up in P6. Ninejen will definitely be happy with his P7, considering where he was at the start. Gyanesh will be ruining the fact that he had a chance at the podium but finishes P8. Manu finishes in P9. Dan finishes in P10. Brazilian Sam in P11. And Askas, unfortunately, because of the power cut, gets a DNF. So Vedu, congratulations on an epic, on an absolutely amazing, highly entertaining, wild GR3 Cup. I think the name does full justice to the fact that this was legit wild. I have never seen a race where in 2 laps the track conditions were just constantly changing. You could not stick with one strategy. You had to adapt and adapt and adapt. What a brilliant, brilliant league. I think the viewers have thoroughly enjoyed every race, whether it was round 1 or round 3 or even round 5 for that matter. I think it's just been crazy. I think our racers have had a wonderful time. Vedu, any final words from your end?
I am really happy, Monk, that we had this exciting last race. I would also like to thank to all our viewers who joined us, and we have been getting quite the number of views on our races, so I'm really happy to see that. Thanks to all our racers, and we just to mention, we almost had a full lobby, a full 14 racers, each and every track. Today, because of some reason, some guys were not able to join us, but I am really happy that we had a full lobby. So yes, this was our season 1. I am really excited about a new and a longer season next year. And yes, and thanks to you as well, Monk, for joining me in across this league. So it has been really helpful with your guidance and support.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Honestly, I loved it. I'm so sorry I had to miss out in between, but kudos, congratulations to every driver who's taken part. This really sets a whole new level of league racing going forward. I think the effort you've put in, Vedu, has totally been rewarding for not just our racers but even for our viewers as well. And for all our viewers, I would like to mention, stay tuned, because we've got some even more exciting leagues coming up. There's been planning that's been going on for months. Sim Nation's gonna have a whole new identity. Vedu has set the blueprint for that, and now we will be building on this. So thank you so much for the last time. For a temporary bit of time though, we will be back with another even more entertaining league. So I really hope that you all stick around and definitely just stay tuned for us to make these announcements. Thank you so much for being there all throughout. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Vedu, for this amazing league. Please do like, subscribe to our channel, like our videos, do comment with your feedback, with what your views were. Feel free to bounce off ideas. We're more than happy to work and build on that as well. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and thank you, Vedu, for such a wonderful opportunity and such an amazing league.
Thanks to you too, Monk. And then we will see our viewers soon in our next league, which I'm also excited to take part in. But yes, and that's it, folks, for our Super World GR3 Cup. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Good night. Bye bye.